Hello. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to the space talking about PD4iGV 2019 in terms of structure management. Um, I'm the host of the day, so I'm Sherbelle, the MCVP PD of ISA Malaysia in term 1819. So the reason of actually shooting this video is to actually let everyone have a better clarity of why about the change management of the structures, and also to let you see a bit of facts of data of why this change is happening. Okay, so which is why the data content itself, we will look into what is the bottlenecks that we are facing in term 2018, especially me when I was managing the network of your predecessor, and how I see the trend of entire PD4iGV evolution since the beginning of this, the formation of this department. Okay, so after looking back to the data and everything, and also the context itself, we're gonna show you what is the proposed structures with a very clear picture of why, how, and what. Lastly, with the proposed structures, I'm gonna bring you through a bit on what you need to take note of, what is the key competency or what's the best profiles that you can look for this department. Last but not least, what is the call to action that you need to take from here as a VP PD for IGV or even IGV to make best decision for the LC itself, especially in your term. Okay, so in term 2018, the structure, when I take over the entire department, the initial structure, it looks like this. Okay, so I have a bunch of PD4iGV people that work with me, and then their structure, it looks like this. The beginning of the term itself, the proposed structures in their term, they should have a director learning partner and director financial partner, and if the LC is doing NCR, then they will have another director of opportunity provider. So they will have three directors. With these three directors, then they will have members. Okay, so this is the initial structures when they starting the term. The structures that was proposed to them, which the execution down the road after half term of this execution, they started to see a bit of obstacles that is facing in this structure. Okay, so the few things that I observed when I actually take over the term is that there's few elements that it's causing from these kind of structures that you need to take note. Okay, so a lot of the team, PD4iGV team, they achieve less than 10K. Okay, with these very huge structures, with you have a lot of members, director and stuff, their achievement usually less than 10K, and then they have a very low partnership pipeline. Okay, so there's not much partners that actually want to continue work with us, or there's no long-term partnerships that's being formed with a very clear way forward for both peak or even more than 2 peak. Okay, next is that there's a lot of IGV learning partners that it's misaligned, which they actually have a lot of people that approach them to be a learning partner of their projects, but a lot of them cannot tackle the value proposition of our projects. Last but not least, there's a very complex synergy happen in between IGV product as a whole. So this is a few obstacles that it's facing in the middle of term 2018, which is why they leads to a lot of consequences. So the consequences is after first semester, right? 50% of the VP IGV or director IGV actually drop off from the position. So when the moments that we are starting to focus on with the peak 2018, half of the network in PD4iGV was all the new people. A lot of people draw out, and then none of financial partner actually secured. Okay, so a lot of them is still doing a very short-term monetary strategies where cannot tackle what is really happening in IGV sustainability perspective. Third, which leads to the consequences of projects not sustainable even after the end of the term. Last but not least, partner experience is not properly managed as well. So with a very huge structure, you have more people, but the strategy doesn't really support what is the things that we want to tackle in this department. Lastly, it's back to the first point, which a lot of director and member actually resign. Not only the upper layer, which VP or the PIC of PD4iGV actually drop off the position, but member as well. Reason being, they cannot see the value as department, and people don't know what is the bigger picture or what's the things that they are really striving towards. Which is why in the middle of 2018 term, there's a lot of change of department and change of structure, as well as change of PIC as well. Which is why there's these kind of structures that happen. So when the middle of 2018, there's two different structures that happen after all the obstacles that facing with the structure one. So there's a VP IGV, and then there's project director and director of PD4iGV. And another scenario is that because there's a lot of middle layer draw out or the VP draw out, then they will have acting VP, or they only have a director straight away recruit new member for the department, which is why they are having this type of structure to start their semester too. So with these structures, there's few benefits that I see when we are starting to manage this kind of structure. So a lot of LC actually strive to achieve more than 10K, especially structure 2. In structure 2, there's a lot of LCs that only have 2 layers in PD4iGV, and they are able to generate a lot of money, income, only for their project itself. For example, JB's UCAM is a very distinctive one, and the similarity is that their IGV is growing as well. So if you look into that, they not only help IGV to grow, but at the same time, they have surplus money for next term, which is your term as 2019. Third, we also tackle partnership pipeline this problem. So the benefit is that with the surplus money, we can do a lot of different initiative with partnership, in partnership perspective, or even a strategy, for example, lower your EP fee, this kind of thing, which all the surplus money is from this 2018 term with a shorter structure that is easy to manage. Next, project director competency is getting higher because they're starting to take care of not only IGV, but they also look into how to manage learning partner as a whole. And then there's a lot of members that work in that kind of structure where it's project-based. Members start to see the relevance as well. Last but not least, it's very easy for PP-IGV and PD4iGV to synergize as a whole because we are cutting down the layer, which we are making synergy in a more simple way where we know who should synergize and who can make a faster decision and how to move forward from that. Okay, so which is why with the evolution of 2018 with different structures and we see the impact and effect of the entire thing, term 2019, we are proposing a very clear way forward for all of you with a very clear structures that you can actually implement that influence your result. Okay, which is why this is the first type of structures that we are proposing, which you will have 2 VP still, but learning partner, we are gonna go back to project director role, and then VP for IGV, VP PD for IGV only manage financial partner, which the layer cut 1 layer, but you are directly leading the members that is doing sales. At the same time, you are the functional coach as well for all the learning partner and also your project director in PD4iGV, which is easy for you to see how can you synergize and how the product grow as a whole. Another type, which is why this kind of structure is available and it's relevant for your IGV goal to be 140 realization or above, which you can have more specific people to take care of partnership. At the same time, you have more manpower to look into how can you find more money to support 140 realization happen. Another type of structure is that you only have VP for IGV, but you will have project director and you have director PD for IGV. So how it works is that still your learning partner will start under project director, but your director PD for IGV will solely focus on finding money. But at the same time, they will also be the functional coach to make sure that project director and the learning partner members that work under project director can get a relevance partner as well, which is relevance for your IGV goal. It's 140 and below. Okay. So the main changes, which is 3. So like what I said just now, we are cutting down 1 layer in PD4iGV to ensure better synergy as a product and better member experience in IGV project. So if you can see, we are subbing people that it's doing learning partner into projects, which they can solely only focus on that project learning partner to provide better service to the partner itself. At the same time, members that is doing financial partner, they can just solely find long-term partner for every single project, or you can venture into different strategies that help your project to be sustained. Second, we focus on financial partner. So if you can see all the PD4iGV structure, you are solely leading people that is doing financial strategies, okay? To only target project sustainability and clearer JD for every single one of them. And with that, you can distinctive very few long-term financial partner for this department itself for IGV projects, okay? So with this kind of structure as well, you can also flexible to play natural strategy, which is why I'm mentioning about the distinctive long-term financial strategy, because you can work closely with the MC to pilot certain projects, because right now your JD is very focused and very financial driven. So there's several pilot projects that you can actually venture into. Like for example, you can do global hosts. You can venture into global hosts because in the end of the day, accommodation is just something that if we can find a global host this concept to apply in Isaac Malaysia, then your IGV project can be sustained. Then second thing is maybe you can also venture into what kind of new IGV project directions that it can be self-sustained when your JD is very focus driven. Yep, which is why this is the proposed structures that you see in the booklets that sent by OD, which this is the main reason behind. Okay, so with the proposed structure, here is the few key competencies that you can look into. For people that it's relevant for PD4iGV, you need to be very external driven to understand Malaysia as a country. Second, you need to have a very strong organization understanding. You have to understand Isaac in Malaysia in terms of operation, preferable product profile. You need to know financial and people trend. So you don't need to go under that extent. Financial and people trend is more to like you as a VP or you as a PIC or director of PD4iGV. But for member itself, you just need to make sure that they understand IGV projects. Okay, so ability to connect internal strength and external opportunity. They are able to drive achievement. They are being customer obsessed, which is partner of an EP. They are always strive for continuities to improve better, and they are resilient. So all these things you can take note if you are VP IGVs that are looking for a director for PD4iGV. Competencies that's required. They need to be good in sales strategy, definition, execution, product knowledge, quality standard and processes, understand the customer needs. They are able to handling objection, manage a sales team. They are able to negotiate and do pitching as well. Last but not least, a few personas that you can look into. They are good in communication, good in building relationship. They are able to see long-term strategy vision. They are very business driven in terms of management, and then their curiosity and resilience is very high. So this is the people that are looking into PD4iGV network. Okay, so there's several call to actions that you need to take note right now. So what you need to do now, no matter you are VP IGV or you are VP PD4iGV or you are already a director has already selected under your VP IGV. So for me, is that you have to sit down with your VP IGV and design the structure as a product team. Okay, never see PD4iGV is as a department, but really sit down with your IGV and see the entire both department as a product team. Okay, and then book my time to have a consultancy space if you have different reality or concern based on all the facts and data that I showed just now. Next, you can actually consult your VP/PM as well with a proposed structures, and then you all can make decision as an EB team as well. Last but not least, get your team ready before WNC so that different layer of people can actually get the most knowledge out of the starting conference itself. So one thing to emphasize, the best scenario for you to get members profile for PD4iGV with the proposed structure, which you only have 2 layers. No matter which you are VP or you are director PD4iGV, you can only recruit member if you are following the proposed structure. So the best scenario is that you really consider to take current member from IGV. Okay, so if all these people with a basic IGV product knowledge, it will help you a lot to achieve what you want to achieve in this department. Okay, second thing, my advice is do not take blank paper. Okay, unless you really have a new member profiles that they are perfectly fit with all the key competencies that I was mentioning just now. Okay, because if you take someone that it's very blank as in the knowledge or the competencies wise, trust me, your sales timeline couldn't afford you to develop this person or you to give this person plenty of time to actually learn what is IGV as a whole. Okay, yeah. So to end the entire space, I just want to do a personal sharing about like why is it so important for you to look into structural management and why is the change management happen in this term. Is that few weeks back, MC actually have an MC replanning together with our entity coach from our team. Okay, so this person called JCU, and she was also MCVP back then for Isaac in Malaysia in terms 16-17. And another fact is that she is actually the founder year for PD4iGV this department back then that year. So we have a discussion with her to understand about why this department exists in the first place and how the entire evolution come after 3 years, which is now 18-19, and what is the factors that is affecting this department. So just to give you a bit of clarity of why this department exists at the first place is to ensure that partner can serve as a enabler to make IGV project to be more relevant, and we can actually be more external friendly in terms of making sure that IGV project is relevant to Malaysia context itself. This is one of the reasons. And slowly when we are evolving and finance standard is starting to evolve, we are starting to see the element of IGV sustainability is something that we want to strive as the ultimate goals that we want to achieve for IGV department as IGV product as a whole. Which is why, second reason of why PD4iGV exists is that we want to make sure IGV project is sustained. Okay, so here is the several things that you can see. In ASEAN and Malaysia, in terms of product sustainability, IGV is facing a crisis of a lot of them cannot make sure that we are in level 2, which is the most healthy stage for this product, which is why PD4iGV exists at the first place. So this is the main two reasons why PD4iGV exists, and it should be your role as a PD4iGV to making sure that you can make this thing happen. Okay, so tips for video IGV function. You have to always remember that you are part of IGV product team, and you need to play a very strategic role to grow the product. And what does it mean by strategic? Now, very clear, which is money, which is getting money and make the project sustain. Third, pick a battle that can change the game. Okay, there's so many things that we can do, and our predecessor has been the experience. It's taught us that when you are doing more things, it doesn't mean that you can solve the ultimate problems they're facing in IGV. You have to pick a battle, and with all the facts and data that show us all kind of different evolution of PD4iGV, we know that doing more stuff doesn't mean that we are solving the ultimate problem. That's why you have to make decisions based on facts and data. With all the things that I was sharing just now, is the evolution of PD4iGV since term 16, 17. Until now, we need to make a decision based on all the facts, data, and context that is showing us what works and what doesn't work. Okay, so that's pretty much the things I want to share with you this time. So if you have any questions, feel free to approach me, no matter which function you are in. And also feel free to find Gina, MCVP IGV, and also Ronnie, MCVP PM, if you have any problem or any thoughts about structures. Yeah, so that's all for me. Thanks for your time.